And I think that is the kind of buying action that we are seeing today, because cheaper valuations, obviously, after yesterday, the markets had tanked. But I want to understand from you, did Budget 2026, Feroz, have anything in it to attract FIIs or even FDI for that matter back into India? Because one was expecting that there are going to be at least some policy announcements on ease of doing business, on assurance of capital return, which would have at least motivated some money to come back into India, especially at a time when we are seeing the kind of depreciation in the Indian rupee.
Yes, Kartik, I think one nuance which is not being spoken enough, which can bring in some stability in the small cap stocks in the year and a half or two to come, unless they change it back again. If they do, the buyback tax, everybody is excited about the reduction in tax to a retail investor. That's actually very little a quantum. So a retail investor was anyways not in the 30% slab, right? There are 3.5 lakh people in a country this large with a greater than 1 crore form 16. So coming back, I am very excited about the buyback tax being differentiated for the promoter, corporate promoter, and the individual investor, not because of the tax saving, but the frequency of buybacks will suddenly shoot up. They had come down. See, what used to happen? Now, let's assume you're a listed company. Kartik is the chairman of a board of a listed company. He sees 2,000 crores in his reserves. He sees FIIs have dumped his stock. He wants to extinguish. He wants to buy back the stock, reward the shareholder by a buyback, and extinguish the stock. And it in turn, as a collateral benefit, shores up the stock or gives stability or gives exit to somebody by participating in the open market. Now here you see the NSE small cap 250 stocks, total balance sheets in terms of reserves is one of at the peaks. Now they're not able to do buybacks. So the frequency of buyback going up is what excites me rather than the tax differential for the buyback.
All right. So that definitely seems like one green signal coming for investors as far as the budget goes. At this moment, let me also introduce Mohit Gang, co-founder and CEO of Moneyfront, who joins me on the show. Feroz, do stay with us for a moment more. But Mohit, I want to first understand from you, also, in addition to this share buyback, which is definitely potentially a positive, there's a major negative which has come as far as personal finance goes, and that is about buying sovereign gold bonds, the SGBs, from the secondary market, and they're going to be taxed as capital gains on maturity. Now, that was a very, very smartly hidden feature within the budget. But overall, the government is obviously feeling the pinch with the sovereign gold bonds. But for investors in that instrument, a big negative coming from the budget?
Hi, Kartik. Good morning. Always a pleasure to be on your show. So look, I think, there are these kind of googlies hidden around in the budget, which always appear post facto. And I think this SGB buyback, or sorry, the SGB taxation was one of such clauses. Honestly, I think, look, to clarify the effect first, anyone who has bought SGBs in the primary market as a direct issuance from Reserve Bank of India, the taxation there is no taxation, right? So that continues as is. But because of the kind of abnormal gain, which I think government thinks that investors have made in this instrument, and obviously the government outlay on this instrument at maturity will be massive. I think they're just wanting to collect or mop back some amount of that gain via taxes. So if anyone has bought SGBs in the secondary market at maturity, now these will be taxed as capital gains. Yes, it's a dampener, but the kind of returns investors have made this in this instrument is astounding. And because of that, I think there was a lot of secondary demand and a lot of high premium going on in the secondary market on SGBs. So my sense is that premium might disappear now because of the taxation. And look, you can argue it both ways. This wasn't necessary, but from a government's perspective, I think they just want to collect back as much as possible from this instrument because they're losing a lot in this one.